protests the day of the verdict just outside of Tahrir Square. Tahrir itself was closed by army tanks and APCs and police armored trucks and barbed wire, but a few thousand people did gather on the outskirts protesting the verdict. There was palpable anger, and 2 people were killed when the police attacked the protests with tear gas, birdshot, and live ammunition. One of the 2 reportedly shot 6 times. And the following day, yesterday, universities across the country held protests. Students have been really one of the epicenters of dissent following the oust of Mohamed Morsi last year, and they continued that protesting the decision yesterday. But the message to many Egyptians with this verdict was that justice has not been served. You know, the moment, August 3rd, 2011, when Mubarak first appeared in court, it was his first public appearance since being ousted following the popular uprising against him. The only reason he was in court was because of mass mobilizations calling for him to be tried. It was a seminal moment in Egyptian history. He was there behind bars listening to the charges against him. Now, less than 3.5 years later, that seems to have all been reversed, erased. And really, I think, while many people weren't that surprised by the ruling, given the nature of the judiciary we've seen over the past year, given the nature of the political situation in Egypt right now, many, I think, were surprised by their capacity to still feel anger and indignation and to be disappointed and upset by this verdict. To see not only Mubarak, but Habib al-Adly, his interior minister, and the top police chiefs all be acquitted, and basically no one being held responsible after scores of police officers have been acquitted in trials as well. Hardly anyone being held responsible for the killing of nearly 1,000 people in this uprising. And we're supposed to chalk it up to something like mass suicide. So it's a very difficult moment, and again, I think a dark one in Egypt's history.
And the way the media has covered this, Sharif?
Well, there's been a surprising reaction, actually. A lot of the media, there's been, even within sympathetic channels that are sympathetic to the Sisi regime, newspapers, there's been a lot of anger about it as well. The main refrain that we've been hearing is, so who's the killer? Because everyone's gotten off scot-free. And we saw, you know, some of these anchors really questioning legal scholars about what this decision means. And there's been quite an angry tone. But, you know, Mubarak is fair game for most people. It's safe for a lot of these anchors to speak out against him. But still, it was a change of tone from a lot of the very sycophantic kind of coverage that we've seen. Obviously, there were that kind of coverage as well, and Mubarak himself, really shockingly, was called in to one of these television stations right after the verdict was announced, and he said that he had done nothing wrong during his term. He said he had laughed in 2012 when the life sentence against him was handed down, which of course has been overturned. And so it was, you know, there's been 2 kinds of reactions in the media as well.